Hello everybody, good evening and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news as the futures of Ahmad and Mason Greenwood face very different paths. Ten Hag giving players ultimatums and warnings as we face the biggest games of his Manchester United career. Lots to get into on the show tonight, and I'm sure a lot of you have got very big opinions on these topics, especially in relation to Ahmad and Mason Greenwood. Mazia, welcome to the Members Club. Lots to get into, like I say. But before we do that, don't forget, we'll touch about it on in the show a little bit. I'm sure many of you would agree that Erik ten Hag needs to be ruthless and trim the grass himself this summer, but you can trim the grass yourself right now with Manscaped. You can get 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code UnitedStand at manscaped.com. Links in the video description or scan the QR code. That's right, 20% off and free worldwide shipping. They ship worldwide. One of these beauties, the Lawnmower 4.0. There it is. A light for a more precise shave, adjustable lengths on the top, lovely feel in the hand, precision engineering for your family jewels, electromagnetic induction charge points where you just pop it in, take it out, no plug. Fantastic. And also you can get the Weed Whacker, brand new model. That goes up there. Away it goes. Fantastic stuff. Don't mind doing a live demonstration with this one. All part of the performance package, or you can buy them individually. High quality products, 20% off with the code UnitedStand and free worldwide shipping. If you didn't know, that's for up the nose. That's for down there. Trim the grass to make the yard look bigger. Thank you very much to Manscaped. Fantastic products. Trust me, when you use them, I hadn't used mine for a while. I used it at the weekend and I was like, why don't I use it more often? It makes such a big difference. Anyway, I tell you what will make a big difference to Manchester United next season. Ahmad in the pre-season squad. Some exciting news around Ahmad. Maybe some not so exciting news around Mason Greenwood. Real contrast for two young players at Manchester United on what the plans are going to be for them this summer. We spoke about Mason Greenwood at the weekend, but there has been some updates coming in, I don't want to call it rumours because it's not a rumour. It's actually from quite well-sourced people close to the club. But we'll talk about that. Also, a little bit more from don't get your words out, Goldbridge. Also, a few other things around Ten Hag's current feeling around certain players and what he's trying to achieve in the next 5 days that you might find quite interesting, especially in relation to player warnings and what he's looking to do. But look, should we start with Ahmad or should we start with Greenwood? I think we're going to start with Greenwood. We'll start with Greenwood. So at the weekend, there was talk of Juventus. There was talk of Italian clubs coming in and loaning him for a year. And then Man United maybe reassessing a situation which is very, very difficult for everybody involved. Mason Greenwood is currently training separately. He's not training with the first team. Obviously, he's not injured or anything like that. He's not played for, 18 months now? Let's have an age check on him. What is he now? 22, I think he is, Mason Greenwood. I think he's 22 years of age. No, he's 21. So still 21. He'll be 22 in October. If you think about it, it's a long time not to play. So what is the latest with him? Well, the latest sort of coming out from people close to this is that Greenwood wants to play football. Manchester United don't want him to play for Manchester United at the moment, and there is zero prospect of him getting a club in the Premier League that would take him either for very similar situations that Manchester United have. In fact, what I was told is that you'd struggle to find even a Championship club that would take him. There probably would be one, but Premier League clubs would steer clear. It's not that he's not regarded as a good player. It's just that the baggage that would come with it, even if he went to an Everton or he went to, any other Premier League club, Brentford, whatever. I'm not saying that those clubs are interested in him, but what the person said to me was that basically if Mason Greenwood signed for Everton or Brentford or whoever in the Premier League, the baggage would still be there. There are journalists who've made it very clear that they don't think he should be playing for Manchester United again, and that will be followed up and maybe even worse at other clubs. I don't think there'd be a scenario where fans of other Premier League clubs would welcome Mason Greenwood. Not right now. His best option is to go abroad, and it would be very interesting if someone like Juventus went for him. So I think some people are probably holding out hopes that new owners, maybe Al-Thani comes in and has a different view and gives Mason Greenwood a chance at Manchester United. You've also got to remember that this, and look, this is why this is good information, and it's something that we've spoken about before. There are players in that first team that don't get on with Mason Greenwood. And I'm not here to tell you who those people are. You might well be able to guess. I might look at the live chat and sort of try not to do a nod. But the hints were there pretty much through social media, immediately after what Mason Greenwood was accused of. And those relationships haven't been mended yet. So it's not just Manchester United. There are certain players in that Man United dressing room who don't have a good relationship with Mason Greenwood. So I think that it's an unsurmountable problem for Manchester United at the moment. I go back to what I said at the weekend. I mean, look, everyone's got the right to an opinion on this. Ultimately, the lad wasn't found guilty in a criminal court. He's therefore innocent in the eyes of the law. There is always the court of public opinion, and that's a very, very harsh court. Manchester United fans, certain Man United fans, English media, not ready for Mason Greenwood to be playing football in this country. Doesn't mean he won't, but I think his best option for everybody is to go and play. 2 years left on his contract at Manchester United. His best option is to go and play abroad. There is a feeling that he could go and do that. There wouldn't be much backlash because, if he goes and plays in Italy or Turkey or France or wherever, they're not as engaged in this story as the English media is and certain English fans are. So, it's looking very, very much like that will happen. And I suppose we're starting to get more information on it now. That I think some people were concerned that maybe Man United would just terminate the contract and he might go and sign for another English club. Man United will probably not terminate the contract. I think that's very, very unlikely. I think that what they will look to do is loan him out and then see where the situation is in a year's time, which is something that we've spoken about quite a lot. So, look, very, very different future to the other player I want to talk about, which is Ahmad. You may have seen today that Ahmad has had a suit done up for him for the FA Cup final against Manchester City. This sent many people into raptures of excitement. Welcome to Members Club MPO, that Ahmad could be playing in the FA Cup. This is not the case. He's obviously had a fantastic season for Sunderland, and will be in attendance for the FA Cup if he chooses to take that invite, which I'm sure he will. He will be probably walking on the pitch. He may well do that, and he will certainly have his suit, which has been fitted for the final. But he won't be involved as a player. And I think that it would be remarkable if that had even been hinted at doing. But you know what? Ahmad's future is very different to Mason Greenwood, because Ahmad has been on loan. He's played. He's done really, really well. And he solves a lot of problems, He solves a lot of problems because he's been out on loan. He's done the business in the Championship, which is a very, very physical, demanding league. So he's proven, even though he's not particularly tall, he's not particularly physical, he's proven that he can go and play in a really competitive league. Remember, Sunderland are in the playoffs as well, so he's got playoff games to play. He's proven that he's got the physicality to play in this league. And I've always said this about some of the players that we've loaned out in the past abroad. What good does it do to loan a player to the La Liga or the Belgian league when we want them to play in the Premier League? The Championship is a perfect place to send people, and Ahmad has gone there and done fantastically well. He will now come back and be given the opportunity by Erik ten Hag on the pre-season to show what he's got. The interesting thing about Ahmad is I think he can win on two levels here. First of all, he's proven himself on loan. He's not just a talent, he's proven he can do it in men's first team football. Second of all, I think he solves a problem that Ten Hag can't solve. And what I mean by that is, I actually think we need a winger. I think if you gave Erik ten Hag £500 million and said you can buy whoever you like, he's going to buy a striker, he's going to buy a midfielder, he's going to buy a centre-back. We've mentioned goalkeeper before, we've mentioned right-back before, maybe another striker before, but I think he would buy another winger. I think he would be looking to buy another winger. And Ahmad can solve that issue because he can play off the wing, he can play at number 10 as well. I think Ahmad's got a great opportunity because he's going to come into the club in a position or positions where ideally I think Ten Hag would be looking to bring people in, but he can't do it this summer because he's got to spend elsewhere. So I've heard plenty of people say, look, we've got loads of wingers. We've got Rashford, we've got Sancho, we've got Garnacho, we've got Anthony. We have got 4 wingers, but it's not like they're all setting the world on fire. In their own ways, all of them need to improve in different areas. So Ahmad has got an opportunity there. He's also not specifically always a winger. He has played at false 9. He can play at number 10, so he can offer options there. I think Ahmad's coming in at a really good time where as a young player at Man United, you might be really good, but there might be somebody in your position who gets bought in already, or who's already at the club playing really well, and you're never really going to get an opportunity. I think if he comes in after after the summer break and comes in pre-season and performs, I wouldn't be surprised if he is getting game time. I think we all know that Alanga and Pellistri will not be here next season. May both get loaned, maybe one of them gets sold and one of them gets loaned. But for Ahmad, tell me I'm wrong. I think we do need maybe another winger. And you know, he's going to want to take that consistency from Sunderland in the Championship into the Premier League. Would you rather get De Jong or Caicedo or Rice? I see De Jong is the best. He is the best midfielder in La Liga now, says Mohammed. Well, it's not about who we want and it's about who we can get. I mean, I like De Jong. I think it's very clear that Erik ten Hag is obsessed with De Jong, but whether we can do that deal, I don't know. I'd certainly put it in the category of Harry Kane, that I don't want us to spend months trying to do a deal that we can't do. Didn't Ahmad play striker against Milan, says member, for 19 months? I can't remember whether he played against striker for Milan. He definitely played a game away from home at Molineux in... was it Nuno's last game when we beat them? And he played as a false nine. So, yeah, he can do that. Devils58 says, why so early? Well, if you watch the morning show, you'd know. I tell you when we're doing the 7 o'clock show because I'm doing AC Milan against Inter Milan on That's Football for an 8 o'clock kickoff. All hopes for the coming season is good transfers, quality player development and being ruthless in getting rid of the players. Don't forget to watch this afternoon's video as well. That's when we were reacting to this story that maybe Man United, if they are bought by Qatar, will be looking to bring ex-players into big positions. Busquets leaving Barca, can't see De Jong going as well, says Robert McCormack. I mean, the story is that they don't want De Jong to leave anyway. He's not up for sale this summer. He was last year, but the fact is he probably isn't. So there we go. Keep your comments coming in. Very, very more than happy to revisit the story about Greenwood and Ahmad. Very different futures for both players. How many players do you think Ten Hag wouldn't replace in a starting 11 if it wasn't the Glazers? Would replace, Nick. I think that Ten Hag would want 2 strikers, 2 midfielders, a centre-back, obviously a goalkeeper. I think he wants a right-back, and I think he would want a winger as well. So how many players are that? Probably 7, really. No more De Jong. Oh, gosh, I'm so fucking tired. I've just held 2 in, and I've had to let that one out. Excuse me, I don't know what's wrong with me last couple of days. Absolutely exhausted. Well, not even exhausted. I mean, I can talk. It's just my mouth starts getting really tired. I'm really not having to push through here. Would you take Kovacic, says Shugant? No. I mean, I like Kovacic, but no, let's move on. I wouldn't want Kovacic. Anyway, also says in the title, Ten Hag warning players. Look, I know there's been a lot said about De Gea after his mistake on Sunday. There's a lot been said about Rashford and a few other players as well. But... Manchester United were back in training today. Last couple of days off, back in training today. Smiles and determination in the squad. That's why a few things have come out this evening from people, obviously, who's been in training today. Effectively, what Ten Hag's message is to the players, it is a warning. It is, look, there's lots of talk about new deals, who should be sold, who should stay. But his message to his players is very, very clear. Their next 5 games are all he's bothered about. 4 games in the league and an FA Cup final. You could be in a really low position at the moment. You may not even be in the team. But over the next few games, he needs his players to deliver. And if you do deliver in the next 5 games, then that's, you can be part of the future. And that stands the same for Sabitzer, who, will his loan be extended or not? That stands the same for people like Lindelof. Is he going to buy a centre-back or not? Potentially a Harry Maguire. Potentially a Scott McTominay and a Fred. Certainly a De Gea. He's looking to these players over the next 5 games to deliver. That is the message. That is the warning, because there has been a lot of things that have annoyed him this season. There's been a lot of things that have annoyed him in the last 2 games. It goes with the front line as well. He needs these players to deliver over the next 5 games. I wouldn't say he's hit the reset button again, because I think he's fed up of having to hit the reset button and bounce back and keep saying we've got to bounce back. But look, what was coming out today, and I'm sure many of you would have predicted it anyway, is that we don't have a game tomorrow. This is the biggest break Manchester United have had since the international break, and it's been few and far between since the World Cup. No midweek game. We played on Sunday. We're not playing again till Saturday afternoon. And the same again happens next week. We play Saturday and we don't play till Saturday again. So Ten Hag is basically putting the warning out there that there's no excuse for tiredness, laziness on the pitch against Wolves. He wants to see well-crafted football. He wants to see more of what we saw in the Villa game in the first half an hour, where we were actually on the front foot at Old Trafford, creating chances and utilising the space that we created with that good football. He wants to see that against Wolves on Saturday and the following Saturday against Bournemouth. We've got to get the points. The bookies still have us as odds on to get top 4. Liverpool are going to come like a train, we know that. They've got Leicester away though on Monday, and then I think they've got Villa. So look, Liverpool have got to keep winning. Man United have got to win. That's what we've got to do. And Erik ten Hag now is looking at these players, and it's, again, look, I don't want to use the word reset, it pisses me off, but they've got to deliver. And one of the most important things is that, you watch Manchester City last night against Real Madrid. That's the creme de la creme of European football going head to head, the holders and the challengers. Man United put in that game against either of those two teams are in big trouble. Big trouble. We wouldn't be able to break that Real Madrid defence down, no way. And I think they would dominate us. And I think we'd have big problems against Madrid. And I think logically that leads to we'd have big problems against Man City. So it's a really important time. Do you think a bidder may now be in a period of exclusivity and we're not aware yet? This could be due to NDAs being in place with all parties, says Yvonne. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I'll tell you why. Would you take anyone from the relegation team, says Ashley James. Oh, Paul Woolley's gifted 5 memberships. You're a legend, Paul. Pratik says, what are the other options for centre-back other than Kim Min-jae and Timber? Well, Guehi's been linked to us from Crystal Palace, Pratik. There are other options out there. He mentions Bastoni. I think people forget our position last season and the fact that Erik ten Hag has been playing all competitions with 13 to 15 players coming from the Eredivisie. It's remarkable, says Mario. I would have loved to see what Erik ten Hag said today to the players, says Oliver. Well, pretty much told you really, but but look, you know what? I think that I've just had a complete. Yvonne wants to know: do you think that there is a period of exclusivity going on with one bidder? Absolutely not, and I'll tell you why. And I'll come back to that relegation question in a minute. There is no way that Manchester United are in a period of exclusivity with Sir Jim or Al Thani, because if they were, Sir Jim or Al Thani would let it be known that was going on. If United were exclusively talking to Sir Jim to sort out a deal, Qatar and Al Thani would let everybody know because they'd be pissed off, and vice versa. So we're not in that position yet. We are nearly 2 weeks. We are nearly 2 weeks after final bids, and nothing is known. It can drive you mad thinking about this, because there's so much going on in the transfer window already. There's so many targets out there, and United are just not in it. And what terrifies me the most is, and again, I was talking to this person today, and they were saying, well, look, if Ten Hag wants Harry Kane, and the Glazers still haven't sold the club, and the money's there for Harry Kane, you could try and do that deal. But then I was saying, well, that's going to take all summer. Are you telling me that the Glazers aren't going to sell the club all summer? And they said, well, no, that's not the expectation. And I said, well, that doesn't make any sense then. If we can buy players, even if the Glazers are still here, Harry Kane's going to take all summer to do. When are the Glazers planning to sell? And also, how much money have they got? They might have enough money for Harry Kane, but have they got any more money for a midfielder or a centre-back or anything like that? And then also, you can't tell me that we're in a good position, because what if Al Thani was in charge and said, if I gave you the money for Osman, would you take him? And Ten Hag would. There's no sense of security or calm or happiness around this situation. And United can put it out there as much as they like that, we can still buy players even if we haven't sold the club. But it's a very different situation when you're trying to buy players with 100 million and whether you're trying to do it with 200 million. Did Varane train today, says Toro? I didn't see any pictures of Varane training today. I don't know whether anybody else did. I certainly wish he had. I don't know whether he did. But I was certainly looking for it. I didn't see him in any pictures. Martial did. Luke Shaw did. Yeah, I think everybody trained, but I didn't see Varane. I think the only back four and Rashford should keep their spot next season. That's why we need big investment. Glazers out and Qatar in, says Tom. Why would Rashford keep his space over Bruno? I'm just intrigued. It's your opinion. Hold on to it, mate, and have it. But Tom says basically that he thinks only the back four and Rashford should keep their spot for next season. What about Casemiro? What about Bruno? What about Anthony? I disagree with you there. For me, and I'm going to answer the question because you can't disagree and not give an opinion, I'm concerned about how the Glazers have put our club to ransom for transfer window. Definitely does feel like Mourinho's second season, says Reagan. And Mark, did you see the comments that Oliver Kahn made about Osman today? I didn't, Oliver, but I'll have a look at them. I'm going to have a look at them now. But look, in relation to the first 11, who do I think should be in the team next season? Well, you know I would keep De Gea, so let's move on from that. I wouldn't get a right back either. I'm happy with what we've got at right back. I'm happy with Martinez and Varane. I think that I think you've got Luke Shaw at left back, obviously Casemiro and Bruno. I think Eriksen's position I would strengthen. Rashford and Anthony, I'd be willing to give them. For me, I'd be looking to strengthen first team, midfield, and attack. And then I'd want another centre back to provide cover. Yeah. So Manchester United received major boost in their bid to sign 130 million rated Napoli striker Victor Osimhen, as Oliver Kahn says, seems to rule Bayern Munich out of the race due to the risk involved in such a big move. So let's have a look at this. Price for him is quoted at 130 million. Oliver Kahn is the CEO of Bayern Munich. And he says, when it's about such a fee, we have to ask the question, does the player give you a guarantee for this money? That would definitely be a big risk. I mean, it doesn't necessarily rule them out, but I don't take that as a boost anyway. Can I just tell you why? I don't think that's a boost. I don't think that's a boost at all, that Oliver Kahn has ruled Bayern Munich potentially out of signing Victor Osimhen, because Bayern Munich are trying to buy Mouani. They're not trying to buy Victor Osimhen. It will be Chelsea or PSG who go for Victor Osimhen, not Bayern. Bayern won't go for Victor Osimhen, not at 130 million. As Amir says, Bayern don't really go for those players. Bayern want Mouani. They don't want to be in the race for Osimhen. So I don't see it as a boost really, because I don't think they're in for him. Barat says, what about Ivan Toney? Well, look, what one thing I would say is, you know, never say never in football. You just don't know what's going to happen, do you? You just don't know what's going to happen. But what I've always said about Ivan Toney is you can't even look at it from a football point of view, because the gambling charges that he has, and look, I'm not party to all the information, but the gambling charges he has, and I don't know what's happening with it, if he's found guilty of those, then he will face a ban. And if he's going to get a ban, the ban will be when he's going to play football. And this season's about to finish. So if you buy Ivan Toney and he's got a month or 6 month ban, nobody knows what we're going to get, then you're buying a player from Brentford who will want, I mean, how much will they want for Toney? 60 million? Maybe more? And then he can't play for maybe half the season. I can't see United going anywhere near it. I just can't see them doing it. I can't see anybody going anywhere near it. I think maybe in January you might go for it, but I don't know what's happening with that. I mean, again, let's just see if we can find out, because is it, look, as a player, and it's completely hypothetical, but as a player, you know, it's he's a very, very good player. I mean, look, the latest update was from March, and the TalkSport and Sky said Brentford Striker, well, Sky Sports said this in March. Brentford Striker admits breaching FA betting rules and could face 6 month ban. So I don't know why. I don't know what's going on. I don't know whether that situation has changed, but you'd wonder why the FA haven't done anything about it. Are they waiting till the end of the season to do something about it? I don't know. But the thing about these FA charges is that they can take a long time. Look at Man City. So maybe we could buy him, and they might have a ban by the time he's 40. I don't know, but I think you've got to be logical. Very, very good player. Be a very interesting target for a lot of teams. But I don't think anyone's going to go near him when you could lose him for 6 months. You're just wasting money, aren't you? So I think until they've bottomed out the gambling charges, I wouldn't bet on Manchester United going for Toney. Rashford has been lucky. I say cash in, says Keel Roberts. I saw somebody say that today, because I was tagged into it because somebody said, well, that's what Goldbridge said at the end of last season. And somebody said I would cash in on, not me personally, somebody was saying on Twitter today, as a Man United fan, they were saying, if I was in charge, I'd cash in on Rashford now. He's not consistent enough, and he will always have these roller coasters where he's hot and then he's not. Look, I'm a fan of Rashford. I did say a year ago I would have got rid of him, but that was based on 18 months of dreadful form where I felt that it was irretrievable. And I think it was better for him to go, better for us to sell him. And also his brother had been to Paris to talk to PSG. So I think it was logical a year ago to at least consider that it might be time to part ways with Rashford. And I felt that a year ago. But as is well documented, everybody can change their opinion. And I think his work rate in the summer, his relationship with Ten Hag and the season that he's had has been ridiculously exciting to get a glimpse, more than a glimpse at times, of what Marcus Rashford could be. I mean, I was saying in January, I wouldn't be surprised if he won the Ballon d'Or at some point. He was playing that well. But again, we've had a bit of a dip, and I do wonder how fit he is because, that groin injury looked bad to me, and then he was back within a week and a half. So I don't trust Rashford's fully fit. I don't know whether that's true. I still think he's a fantastic player. I wouldn't be moving him on, but some people would. And I can sort of see where they're coming from. It's all about opinion, but I certainly wouldn't do that. United says lasagna with Margot Robbie or a chat with Gary Neville. Just waiting to see if she's... Yeah, I was just about to say that. Definitely a chat with Gary Neville. Margot Robbie and a lasagna, definitely. Yeah, nothing's going to happen. We're just going to eat the lasagna and talk about what it was like doing a Tarantino film with Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio. But yeah, definitely. Did United lose their identity? Sorry, Gary. Did United lose their identity when they changed the way they attack? We always based our game on fast-paced wingers who can whip a crossing. Says 5 cantoners. I'm loving the questions tonight. Just for everybody who watched Driving with Goldbridge last week, thank you so much. It's had over 100,000 views. I'm going to do another one tomorrow. I just brought it back as a sporadic one-off thing, and it's had over 100,000 views. I'm not being a show-off here, but everything we do, I think we share as a community. There are other fan channels out there who will do a clickbait title, and they'll still only get about 40,000 views. I got in the car and spoke about AI, and we've had over 100,000 views, so I think we'll do another one tomorrow. Looking forward to that. But just going back to that question there, we share success together. We're a community. Did United lose their identity? We used to play with fast wingers, etc. Well, we lost a identity when Sir Alex Ferguson retired, and obviously Sir Alex Ferguson's identity at Manchester United went on for 2.5 decades. So, we lost an identity. Yes, we did, but I'm with you. I mean, look, you watch United 60s, 70s, 80s before Sir Alex. We were always about wingers. And, we may never play like that again, but I will always, in my heart, believe that the United way is risk-taking football, getting people in the box and whipping crosses in. I love it. I try and do it on FIFA, but the game's broke. So I would love to see United get back to doing that. But you've got to have a man in the middle who can get on the end of those crosses. I don't think Bruno's particularly good at getting on the end of crosses. We haven't really got a striker who can do it. And we don't really do it enough. But, look, I think Ten Hag's trying to build something a little bit different. And I'm grateful. I'm hopeful that he can. I think Ten Hag wants someone like Osimhen because he likes that type of player, like Kudos, Rashford, where they are explosive, says Oliver. Thank you very much. And Mark, we have the worst fans. How can some fans say Ollie is better than Ten Hag, says Tony. Well, Ollie's just done an interview where he's basically bigging up McKenna and Carrick and telling everybody about how Carrick used to talk about when we had the ball and McKenna used to talk about when we haven't got the ball. Look, McKenna deserves massive credit for what he's done with Ipswich in League One. Carrick deserves massive credit for what he's done with Middlesbrough in the Championship, and hopefully they'll get promoted. But you can't take success in the modern day and transform it back to failure in the past. You know, Ollie's not Michael J. Fox, and he hasn't got a DeLorean, and he doesn't wear a body warmer. Like, you can't just go, I'm going to take the success of McKenna and Carrick now, who've basically learnt from their mistakes at Manchester United and changed, and then take that success and make it look like you were successful 3 years ago when you failed. The reality is, I'm really happy with what Carrick and McKenna are doing, but for Ollie to be sat there saying, wow, yeah, when I was in charge, McKenna was doing the defensive side of things and Carrick was doing the possession side of things, you can't live off the fact that they're doing well at Ipswich and Middlesbrough and transform it back. We were terrible. We were terrible at defending. I mean, we were terrible at defending, and we were terrible at scoring goals. The way we were successful was because we got everybody behind the ball and parked the bus, and then we counter-attacked and relied on moments. We were terrible in possession, and we weren't very good at defending. We just had loads of bodies back. So I don't really know why people are suddenly trying to reimagine the Solskjaer era as being anywhere near on the same page as Ten Hag. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Solskjaer's best thing was that he had this amazing away record. There was no crowds in the ground. It was like a Sunday morning game. Home and away didn't actually matter. It made no bloody difference. It was, you know, one man and his dog, and it wasn't even a one man and his dog. Ten Hag is the man. Ten Hag has produced the best season we've had, in my opinion, in the circumstances, since Sir Alex Ferguson retired. And people will say, well, what about when Mourinho won the Europa League and the Carabao Cup? But I think Mourinho took over a team that was in a far better state than what Ten Hag did. Ten Hag's took over the worst Premier League Man United side ever. And he's only brought 5 players in. He's took us to 2 cup finals, he's won 1, and we're in the top 4. I think Ten Hag's done a great job. And I think you're an absolute prat if you even think about considering that Ollie was better. Would you take any of the relegation players? I'm going to talk about that, Ashley. And board, bad decisions making and constantly coaching changes and not fulfilling manager demands have been our demise. We need new owners with a real plan, says Mario Franco. So would I take any players on from relegation? Would you take any players from relegation sides? Well, assuming Leicester, Leeds and Southampton are going down, you're not going to take anybody from Leeds because it's Leeds. And if you're going to take someone from Leeds, it's got to be somebody exceptional. I don't think they've got anybody exceptional, so I wouldn't take anyone from Leeds. From Southampton, a few people say James Ward-Prowse. I personally wouldn't take James Ward-Prowse. He doesn't start for Man United. He doesn't start for Arsenal. He doesn't start for Man City. So why are we buying a player that wouldn't start for any of our rivals or ourselves? I think he's a decent bench option for Manchester United, but a midfield of Casemiro, Ward-Prowse and Bruno is not going to topple City, is it? So I wouldn't go for Ward-Prowse. Plus, he will be quite expensive. Lavia, I would look at. I don't know whether Man City would stop that because Southampton bought him from Man City, but Lavia I'd look at. I've also been a big fan of Bella Kotchup. I think those 2 players are really interesting. And potentially the goalkeeper, Bazuna, is interesting. I'm not saying he's the answer, but he's interesting. Imagine Ollie's Man United taking on Ten Hag's Ajax team, says Harry. And then that leaves Leicester if they get relegated. Well, from Leicester, I think a few years ago, there's a few players I would have took. Ndidi, you know, maybe even Vardy, but not anymore. At Leicester, I'm not massively convinced about Tielemans unless Ten Hag is. Maddison, I don't think we need a player like Maddison. I don't really think we do, and he'd be very expensive. Harvey Barnes is too inconsistent. There's nobody at Leicester that really jumps out to me. So yeah, I think I'd be looking at the Southampton players that I've just said. Tyler Adams, good player. Has he done enough? So no, I don't think so. I don't think so for me. Rodrigo at Leeds, not enough, not good enough. If you're going to take a player from Leeds, they've got to be very, very good. But Ten Hag might take a look at Tielemans on a free. And if he did, I'm all for it. I'm not saying there's a bad player there, but for me, I probably wouldn't. If Everton went down, I'd go, Onana. And I'd probably go, I'd go for Onana. Probably him, really. What about Daka at Leicester? He's not really hit the ground running, has he? Which is surprising because he's fast. Anyway, look, I've got to get over to do the AC Milan, Inter Milan derby. It's the Champions League second semi-final. We're live, so we can continue the chat over there. Make sure that you smash a like on the video and subscribe. Obviously, we're back tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. I'm back tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, and we'll have the preview tomorrow as well for the Wolves game. So we're getting close to a massive weekend. I know it feels like a bit of a big break, but I think we needed it. And every game is a cup final for Man United now. I will see you over on That's Football in a couple of minutes for the second Champions League semi-final. This is going to be intriguing. Which way is it going to go? AC Milan or Inter Milan? Who you got? Let's get over there and have a chat.